Hey, I am Daisho, and I am here bringing you some more Magic. This is Game 2. Game 1, I pretty much rolled over my opponent, but he was stuck on land Game 1. He couldn't find his white source until turn 5 or something like that. So, right here, he's got pretty much the opposite issue. He is stuck on white, and he can't find any green. So, that's a little bit unfortunate for him, but he does manage to draw the green source, so that's pretty awesome. And he's got the Call of Conclave. One turn too late, but definitely still good enough. I mean, he would have basically just been able to deal 3 more damage to me, get through that Drudge Beetle. But as it stands, my Drudge Beetle can't attack, and he can attack past me, as long as I don't have a combat trick or anything, which I do not at this point, and then he just draws another green source. So he is pretty much good to go in terms of his colors for now. And he's got an Armory Guard to make sure that I won't be getting past that guy anytime soon. So last game you saw me put a stab wound on the Armory Guard, and that was pretty awesome. But here, instead, I just got this Volatile Rig, and I really don't know what to do with this card. There's just so many words on it, and it's such a crazy card. I probably should not have cast it at this point in the game. I should have waited until there would be a point where it's kind of beneficial for me to, but like, just say the rig goes off right now. His Armory Guard survives. That's the only thing that survives, and it deals 4 damage to each of us, bringing me down to 13 and him down to 16 without any pressure on my side of the board. I do lose my Drudge Beetle so I can scavenge it later, but I mean, that's not even good. So he's trying to figure out the best way to play around this ridiculous card, and I don't even know why I cast it, but I did. So he's going to play a Seller of Songbirds here, and he probably tapped incorrectly. He should have left a green open, because generally green has more combat tricks, but it doesn't really matter, because he's not planning on doing any combat tricks, and neither am I, so not really such a big deal. So Volatile Rig has to attack if it can, and obviously this is a situation where it can. And he's like thinking for a little bit, and I have a feeling that he decided to make this block before, and that's why he played the Seller of Songbirds in the first place. But he just double blocks that, so it'll definitely die. It doesn't trample through for any damage. And then we're gonna flip a few coins. At first, I flipped a coin, but forgot to call heads or tails. Then we read the card again and tried to figure out what we were flipping for. So it turns out that it has a trigger that whenever it's dealt damage, you flip a coin. So we just flipped that coin for fun, even though it was going to die in combat anyway. So I won this flip, so he wouldn't have died. Yeah, the first flip is just me forgetting to call either of them. And yeah, now we're trying to figure it out. And then eventually I end up just losing the flip, or winning the flip, so the world does not blow up, and all it really did was trade for a Centaur. So that was pretty useless. Sorry, Volatile Rig, but you do not get Daisho's honorary awesome, reward, I guess. Daisho's honorary awesome reward for being a cool card. So there was another draft. I don't remember if I recorded that one, where they were going around really late, and I'm just like, fine, I'll take it. It was like 5th to last pick, Volatile Rig or something crazy like that. But anyway, I won the flip, so nothing died. That's the way it works for whatever reason. And here I'm just gonna play a Golgari Longleg. So we're just like, okay, whatever. And then I'll just play the biggest thing on the board. So that's pretty cool. I do have a Towering Indrik in hand, which will stop his flyer, but I don't really care about taking the 1 damage. It just takes me down to 16, which is not a big deal as of now. But he does tap 6 for a Courser's Accord, so that is really not good. And here he's trying to figure out what he is going to populate, whether he's going to populate a bird or a Centaur, and he ends up populating a Centaur. So, I mean, that's fine for me. I do have this Golgari Longlegs. It means that I can't attack. If I do, I'll just trade for a Centaur, because he'll just double block my Centaurs, or he'll double block the Golgari Longlegs on my Centaur, and I don't have any combat tricks or anything, so I can't even make that attack, and I basically just have to look at him. So I'm just going to drop a Towering Indrik here, and I mean, my friend's a pretty good player. The person I'm playing against, he's a pretty good player, and he understands how the game works. He understands that Reach is an ability that makes flyers not able to block, or Reach allows a grounded creature to block a flyer. But for whatever reason, just the way the game was going, because of the stupidness from the Volatile Rig, and then I don't know, I just knew he was going to attack there, so I just played the Towering Indrik, and I know it sounds really stupid. Yeah, I knew he was going to attack. But for whatever reason, I actually had this feeling that he would block there, so that was really fun. Or he would attack there, so that was really funny. So his bird just died there for no reason. It wasn't really going to do anything for the entire game anyway, but it is kind of funny. So he's got a Centaur's Herald, so pretty soon he's going to have 3 3/3s, and luckily for me, I've got a Gerard, and Gerard does work. played a Gerard and a Trestle Troll, so that's actually really good for me because he can't attack right now. All his 3/3s don't really do much since I have a 1/4 and I have a 2/4 and a 5/4. So my board is pretty well suited to beat his 3/3s right now. So that's definitely puts me in a good spot, especially since I've got Gerard out and some Scavenge. So I know, or actually, yeah, I have just the Judge Beetle right now. So I know that in the long game, I'll be able to win eventually just by launching all my dudes at Gerard. So he just passes the turn back because there's no way that he has any profitable attacks here. And right here, I think, no, I don't make my mistake yet. I definitely make a couple of mistakes in this game. And the reasoning that I say that is because there's so many different things that can happen at any given time here. That there's just really, I mean, not that there's no way to play perfectly, but I am not good enough to play perfectly in this scenario. Since I can Gerard any of my creatures at any point in the game, I can leave back mana for regenerating my Trestle Troll, I can leave back mana for sacrificing, I can use my Scavenge mana. There's so many different options and choices that I can make, and I just don't think I made the right choices in many of these scenarios. So he makes a joke here, and he's like, hey, what if I attack with this? And I'm just like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So at the end of the turn, I just drew a card, or I didn't even think about anything on his end step. Maybe I should have sacked one of my Scorpions or my Scorpion or something like that. But instead, I just play another Scorpion, and then I think I just passed the turn right back. But yeah, this is really, it's going okay for me, especially since I have more. Oh, wait, I am going to do something. Oh, I'm going to just sacrifice. I guess it's probably on his end step. Yeah, that was on his end step that I just sacrificed the Scorpion. And I drew the Sewage Shambler here, but he does not have any black mana right now. So that's not really too good for me, because that would be awesome if I could just get the Sewage Shambler down and scavenge onto it, and then sacrifice like my other Scorpion and then scavenge onto it with that, and that would be pretty sweet. But right here is where I make my first mistake. So I scavenge my Sluiceway Scorpion onto my other Scorpion, and I figure since it's a 4/4, it'll have to trade with at least two things. And well, I mean, even then, if it's just trading for a Centaur and a Cellar, that's probably not good for me. So it puts me in a position where I just didn't think throughout the entire turn. If I had thought through the whole turn, then I would see, all right, what's probably going to happen is he's going to double block with a Centaur and a Cellar of Songbirds, and then I'm going to be like, well, now I want to just sacrifice that and launch it at his face. And then that would do 4 to him, but then I would be tapped out. So which, I mean, it's not necessarily bad, but I generally want to keep my mana available with Gerard. But he plays a Common Bond, so instead of just having my creature trade with his Common Bonded Centaur, I decided to launch it at his face. But now he's got 2 4/4s, and I have nothing that can really block a 4/4 well, and no mana to block and then sacrifice. So he's just going to swing in with both those Centaurs. And it leaves me to the point where I'm just sitting on my turn and I'm thinking, well, what do I do now? And that's just not the position I should be in, because I should have thought through the whole turn. Sure, I didn't expect the Common Bond, and that was something that I should have played around, or maybe should have played around, maybe just not even thought of. But it just put me in such a terrible position that I'm just like, you know what, this is really bad. So I end up deciding to just take the damage, going down to 8, because I figure, all right, I won't make that mistake again, and I'll be okay. So that was just really unfortunate for me, that I did something that stupid. And then I mean, it wasn't unfortunate. It was actually a good mistake to make, because it goes to show you that you always have to think through the entire turn, and if you don't, then it could cause you some trouble. So every time you make a play, basically in Magic, you should be thinking of what you're going to do now and what you're going to do the next turn. So now I just attack again, and that really wasn't a good idea, because he's just going to block with his Armory Guard and Savage Surge, and now I have to again use some mana. But this time it's a little better, since I still have 4 mana up. I have 3 spells in my hand that I can play, but none of them are worth it, because I want to be able to block his Centaurs. But even so, well, actually right now I'm okay, because I do have 5 mana in, I have 3 creatures in my graveyard, so Gerard is a 5/5, and he can block the Centaurs, so that's pretty good for me. I also have mana open, so I can sacrifice something, so if he somehow gives his creatures +1/+1, somehow, miraculously, like he plays a Phantom General or something like that, then I can still block and sacrifice. But I don't think I saw that at the time, and I guess I sort of make another mistake here. What I probably should have done was just blocked one of the 5/5s, because the two ones with the counters on them are 5/5s, and then the other one is a 4/4. So I probably should have just blocked the 5/5 with Gerard, and then just chump blocked one of the other ones and just taken the rest, or the other 4 damage. Although I didn't really want to take any damage because he still had 3 other creatures that he could attack with in the future. So if I was at a lower life than that, it would probably be pretty bad for me. So yeah, maybe this was the right play. So I end up just chump blocking the last one, and I only have 4 mana up, so I can't regenerate and sacrifice a creature. So that kind of sucks for me. But I'm going to have to basically just chump my Drudge Beetle at this point. It makes my Gerard bigger, though, which is pretty good. But it would be nice if I were able to just like block and sacrifice. But I really didn't want to take any damage here. So I was forced to do it this way. And he's at 9, so I mean, like, I'm pretty close to killing him. But I guess, I wonder how the game would have played out if I had just tried to. I don't think I would be able to kill him quick enough. Like, I think he would kill me quicker if I had just blocked and sacrificed and then lost my Trestle Troll. I don't think that would have been the right play. Then he'd be at 7, and then I could like play a Dead Reveler. I don't know. I don't think that would have worked out in my favor, but I do draw land here, which is pretty good because, again, I just need enough mana to do everything. So a lot of the things are happening in pairs of 3, like my Scorpion scavenges for 3, the one that I have in the graveyard. My Drudge Beetle scavenges for 6, so that's 3 times 2. And then my Trestle Trolls regenerate for 3. I can play my Sewer Shambler for 3, which I have in hand. I can play my Dead Reveler for 3, and I can play my Trestle Troll for 3. So pretty much anything that I do, and did I mention Gerard sacrifices for 3? I think I did. But basically anything I can do at this point is in increments of 3, so getting to 9 mana is really important. So first I think I'm going to scavenge onto my Towering Indrik, so that it would be able to profitably block a Centaur, and then in the future I can just sacrifice it for 4 damage. But instead I decided to play a Dead Reveler Unleashed, and the reason why I unleashed it here is just because I wanted to get that extra damage through. I mean, I know I'm not swinging through the Armory Guard anytime soon, but it will help me in that I can sacrifice it for 3 more damage, take him down to 6, and yeah, so anyway, this is just a case or a game where you see how powerful Gerard is. He's so big that my opponent can't really profitably attack anymore, and it's just to a point where if I keep this going on and he doesn't have any pressure that can actually kill me, then Gerard's just going to end the game. I didn't swing in for any combat damage this game, and he's already at 9, and it's looking like I might be able to just close the game out with it. But he plays a Knightly Valor here, and I think he's deciding which creature he wants to put it on. I think he was thinking maybe his Cellar Songbirds, but that would just die to Gerard. So he puts it on his Centaur, and he gets a Knight out of it. So now his Centaur is what? It's a 3/3 plus a token, plus a counter is a 4/4, plus the Phantom General is a 5/5, plus the Knightly Valor is a 7/7, and it looks like my Gerard is a 6/6. So even with sacrificing a creature, I would still not be able to profitably block. So I'm just going to block with my Troll and regenerate it, and that's actually really the right play for him to attack. He doesn't lose anything by attacking, and it makes me regenerate, which means that I have to block and regenerate, which means that I have to use my mana. So even though I didn't get to sacrifice my Dead Reveler right away, you're still going to see that I think maybe I'll be able to do it this turn, especially if I don't do anything. If you can see my hand, I drew a Launch Party, and that'll be pretty awesome since it's just another way to deal 2 damage. So even if I don't have any more creatures, then I can still just get an extra 2 damage through by even sacrificing Gerard or something like that. But by not spending any mana this turn, it means that I can block with my Trestle Troll, regenerate it, and still sacrifice my Dead Reveler, which will put him at 6, which will just be another step closer to winning the game. So, as I said earlier, I definitely didn't play this game ideally. There was probably a point where if I had done a string of a couple of things, I could have won like 1 turn sooner, or maybe even 3 turns sooner, or something like that. But here, he's just going to attack again. I'm going to regenerate with my Trestle Troll, and then at end step, I'm going to launch my Dead Reveler at his face, dealing 3 to him. So now he goes down to 6, and right here, I do not think there's a way I can win. I can sacrifice my Towering Indrik for 4 damage. I could have also scavenged onto it and sacrificed it for 4 damage, but then I wouldn't have enough mana to Launch Party or sacrifice another creature that would be able to do 6 damage. Because now I have 9 mana, so I can do 3 things. So, like, let's say I scavenged onto my Trestle Troll, and then launch it, that would only be 5, or if I scavenge onto my Towering Indrik, launch it, that would be only 4, and then I can launch another Towering Indrik, and still would take him down to 1 life. So there's really no way that I could have killed him here, but now I have 2 activations of regen up, or a regen and a launch, or 2 launches, or something like that. So he's just going to play a Towering Indrik, and I believe pass the turn. And here's where I make another stupid mistake. Instead of launching anything at his end step, I decide not to. I could have sacrificed the Towering Indrik and then just scavenged onto my Trestle Troll, launch that, and then just launch the last Trestle Troll at him for the game. But for whatever reason, I didn't see that. But I do believe that I still have game here, because I can scavenge onto my Towering Indrik for 4, sacrifice that, and then since I drew a land, I am able to launch party to get the last 2 damage through. Yeah, I just there's the coin, by the way, from earlier in the game that we used for the stupid volatile rig. Man, that card was so useless. But at least I put a creature in my graveyard that made Gerard bigger, so that was pretty relevant at some point in the game. But yeah, I'm just going to sacrifice my Towering Indrik and then launch party him for the game. So that was a pretty cool game. I got a win without doing any combat damage. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and have a nice day. Bye.